All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle one of the biggest questions out there. What is God actually like? The Bible gives us this incredibly rich, complex picture of God's character, so let's try and unpack that together.
So let's start here with a pretty simple question. What's really in a name? I mean, think about it. A name can tell you so much about a person, right? Their background, what their family hoped for them, their whole identity, really.
Okay, and this is where things get really interesting because right at the very beginning of the biblical story, like in the first 2 chapters of Genesis, the text uses 2 totally different names for God. And believe me, that's no accident. It's actually a huge clue, a key to understanding this fundamental duality in God's character.
All right, so let's break this down. We're going to look at these 2 ancient Hebrew names, Elohim and Yahweh.
So first up, we have Elohim. This is the name you see all over Genesis chapter 1. And it paints a picture of God as this almighty, all-powerful creator. The God who is transcendent, just totally beyond our full understanding, in control of absolutely everything. This is the God who just speaks and boom, galaxies pop into existence.
But then you get to chapter 2, and the story introduces a whole new name, Yahweh. And what's so fascinating here is that Yahweh is God's personal name. It's the name used when the focus shifts to God as a covenant maker, the one who wants a close, personal, loving relationship with the very people he just created.
So right there, these 2 names give us 2 core sides of God's character, don't they? You've got his cosmic power on one hand and his personal closeness on the other. There are fancy words for this. Theologians call it transcendence and immanence.
And this just illustrates the difference so perfectly. As Elohim in Genesis 1, God creates the entire universe just with the sound of his voice. But as Yahweh in Genesis 2, wow, the imagery gets so much more personal. The text describes God getting right up close, forming man from the dust with his own hands, and breathing life directly into his nostrils. It's such a powerful shift, isn't it? From this massive, cosmic command to this really intimate act of creation.
And this idea of God's closeness, his immanence, it's not just in Genesis. It's a theme you see woven throughout the entire Bible. Fast forward a couple thousand years, and you have the Apostle Paul explaining to the people of Athens that this God isn't some distant, detached being. No, he's the very one in whom we live and move and have our being.
So, how in the world do we hold these 2 massive ideas together? Immense cosmic power and super intimate presence? Well, the biblical writers point us to one person as the ultimate answer, the one who shows how this ancient duality finds its most perfect expression.
See, according to the New Testament, this isn't some big mystery we're left to solve all on our own. The message is pretty clear. If you really want to see the clearest, most complete picture of what God the Father is like, you look at Jesus. You look at his words, you look at his actions, and you especially look at his love.
And this really is the knockout punch, the crucial point. It comes directly from Jesus himself. He who has seen me has seen the Father. Wow. With just that one sentence, he's claiming to be the perfect reflection, the ultimate revelation of who God the Father truly is.
And just think for a second about one of Jesus' most famous names, Emmanuel. What does it mean? It literally means God with us. It's the perfect fusion of the 2 ideas we've been exploring this whole time. You have the cosmic power of Elohim, that's the God part, and the intimate closeness of Yahweh, that's the with us part. It's all right there, embodied in one single person.
And to make sure we get the fullest possible picture, the Bible doesn't just give us one account of Jesus' life, it gives us 4, and each one comes from a slightly different angle, a unique perspective.
So you've got Matthew, who really focuses on Jesus as the promised Messiah for the Jewish people. Then there's Mark, who shows him as this non-stop sacrificial servant. Luke zooms in on his incredible compassion and his deep humanity. And finally, John presents him as the divine Son of God. You put them all together and you get this incredible, multi-dimensional portrait.
Okay, so why does any of this matter? Really, why is understanding God's character so important? Why should this picture of God matter to us right here, right now?
Well, because according to the Bible, this is not just some academic exercise, right? The goal isn't just to pile up a bunch of facts about God. The whole point is that the more clearly we see who he actually is, both incredibly powerful and deeply personal, the more we can learn to trust him, to love him, and to grow in a real, genuine relationship with him.
One writer put it in a really beautiful way. She said to imagine all the love we've ever known in our entire lives and compare that to a tiny little stream. Well, that stream is nothing next to the boundless, massive ocean of God's infinite love.
It's a love that's just way bigger than we can possibly wrap our heads around.
And really, that's the beautiful invitation in all of this. This isn't a topic you just master in an afternoon and then move on. It's a journey, a process of discovery that can fill an entire lifetime and, according to the source material, even all of eternity.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. For you, right now, what aspect of God's character means the most? Is it his cosmic, universe-creating power as Elohim? Or is it his close, personal presence as Yahweh? Think about it. What resonates most with you, right where you are today? Thanks for joining me.